Hello and welcome back to the channel. We've completed the tutorial section with installing the different virtualization software, and we've also installed some virtual machine just to get us started. For the future videos, we will be working with different Windows servers and we'll see how they are used in an infrastructure. And I will be using VMware Workstation as my main virtualization software, but feel free to use VirtualBox or Hyper-V. Now, we'll be continuing on our scenario, and this is where we're at. So PRB Investments is looking for some IT services. We're done with finding a virtualization software to build their servers, and now we will need to create a domain controller for them. We have this email from Bruce Clark. Hi team, as discussed in our meeting, the team at PRB Investments will need a method to control our identity and access management. Dylan, the IT manager, told us that we will be using Active Directory to help with this. I've worked with Active Directory in the past, but was never involved in the setup. I'll leave this in your capable hands. Here is what we would like. 3 user accounts, Philip Han, and the account login will be phan@prbinvestments.local, Rachel Beck, and the account login will be rbeck@prbinvestments.local, and Bruce Clark, and the login will be bclark@prbinvestments.local. Please let me know what else is needed and will be available to help. Thank you, Bruce Clark. So, Bruce Clark is looking for a solution to help us with their identity management. And Active Directory is perfect for this. And when it comes to Active Directory, there is a lot to know. There are a lot of concepts and components that makes up Active Directory. As much as I would like to include it in this video, I will add those in another video just to keep this video as a practical example. So here are the tasks that I would like us to accomplish. First, we want to install the Active Directory Domain Services role on DCO1. We want to promote DCO1 to be a domain controller. We want to ensure the domain is called prbinvestments.local. Ensure DCO1 is now a domain controller. Ensure the ntds.dit database file has been created. So with those tasks laid out for us, let's dive in and start to build our domain controller. Okay, so as you can see, I'm currently logged into my Windows server called DC-01. And what we need to do is add a role called Active Directory Domain Services. So I will go back to my dashboard and I'll click on the option to add roles and features. Now, doing so will launch the Add Roles and Features wizard. And first we get to the Before You Begin introduction that is basically telling us that the wizard will help to add roles, and it tells us how to remove roles as well. I also have this option to skip this page by default, but I won't do it. But you can do that if you choose to. From here, I will click Next. The first set of options we get is the installation type, which is either role-based or feature-based installation, or remote desktop services installation. We'll leave it at role-based and click Next. Next, we need to select the server we would like to install the role on. We currently only have one, so I will click Next. And this is where we can select the role that we want to install. Now think of giving your server a role as giving your server a job to do. For this role, we want the server to be a domain controller. So we will choose Active Directory Domain Services. Selecting this option brings up another small window that's basically telling us that Active Directory needs these following roles and features to be installed as well. And if you read through what it is installing, it's basically tools that we can use to manage and administrate Active Directory. We also have this other option to include management tools if applicable. So we'll leave all of these checked and click on Add Features. We'll click Next and we can see there are other features we're able to install if needed. And notice a few of these are already checked off. That extra small window that came up before automatically selects these features for us. You can select additional features if you'd like, but I will just keep the default and click Next. This is just some information about Active Directory Domain Services, what it does, and some things to note. It's also letting you know about Azure Active Directory, which is a cloud-based service for identity and access management, but I will click Next. Next, we have to confirm our installation selections. I can check this box to restart the server if needed, I'll leave this unchecked for now because I know this installation won't require a reboot. I also have this option to export our configuration settings. And now I'll just click Install Now to begin the installation of the role. The installation is done, and we've just installed Active Directory Domain Services, but we've just installed the role, and now we need to promote our server to be a domain controller. As you can see, we have this message saying additional steps are required to make this machine a domain controller. And below it, we have this option to promote this server to be a domain controller. Before I click on that, notice we have this option to export configuration settings. We didn't really do much configuration to install this role, but if we did, we can simply export this configuration and import it into another system to make the installation more seamless. Next, we'll click on Promote this server to be a domain controller, and we get another wizard. For the deployment configuration, we have three options: to either add a domain controller to an existing domain, add a new domain to an existing forest, or add a new forest. We'll choose to add a new forest since we don't have the previous two. Our forest root domain will be called prbinvestments.local. Then I'll click Next. For domain controller options, we have a few options here. We can change the forest and domain function level. If you're building a new domain, it's always recommended to use the latest function level unless you have legacy applications that needs an older functional level. For the domain controller capabilities, we have the domain name system automatically checked off. Now, DNS and Active Directory are extremely closely integrated. You can even see that they share the same structure as well. So it's highly recommended to leave your domain controller to be your DNS server as well. The global catalog is grayed out, and so is the option for read-only domain controller. These options will become available when you install your second domain controller. And lastly, we have our directory services restore mode. Basically, if one day your domain controller goes down and you need to recover it, this password is what you will need. So make sure that you keep this password in a safe place where you could access it later. Next, we have our DNS options, and I'll click Next. Our NetBIOS name will automatically be filled in. NetBIOS is an old legacy technology that used to allow computers to communicate over a network. It's not really in use anymore, and it was replaced by DNS and TCP/IP. We'll leave this as is and proceed. Next, we're asked for the locations to save some files. These are very important files to Active Directory, and if you're new, it's recommended to leave these files in the default location. So I will leave these files and then I will click Next. Next, we can review the selections that we made, and we have this option to view the script with the message that we can export this to a Windows PowerShell script to automate this process if needed. So let me take a copy of this. Then we'll click Next and wait for the prerequisite check to be finished. We do get green check marks that the checks are passed. We do get a few warnings, but we could proceed. I'll click Install to complete it. And we'll wait just a bit for the installation to be completed. And once the installation is done, it will reboot. Okay, so the install is done and my computer rebooted automatically. Now at the logon screen, it comes up with our new domain PRB Investments with our administrator username. I'll log in using my DOM control 2024 password. Now, one thing to note here, when you promote your computer to be a domain controller, your local users no longer exist. Your computer will only be able to log in using domain users only. Now, if this is a bit confusing, as we proceed throughout these lessons, you will start to understand what I mentioned here. And now that we're done with that, let's verify a few things. So first, I'll click on Tools, and notice we have these additional tools like Active Directory Users and Computers, Active Directory Sites and Services, and Active Directory Domains and Trusts. Next, I'll open up PowerShell, and I'll type nltest/ds get dc :prbinvestments.local. And here we can see some more information about our domain, like the DC, the address, the forest name, domain name, and site names as well. So this tells us that our domain controller is active. And lastly, we'll navigate to c/windows/ntds. And here you can see the ntds.dit database file. And this file will contain all of the objects in Active Directory. So this is probably one of the most important files in your domain controller. So protect it with your life. Okay, now I'll end the video here. If you're able to follow along and get this going, great job. If you struggle a bit, or maybe you made a mistake, honestly, the great things about Virtual Machine is that you could blow it away and start over from fresh. So if you're new to do that, that's fine. If you have any troubles, please leave a comment below and let's try to figure it out together. In the next video, we'll dive into Active Directory Users and Computers. We'll add our first computer to our domain, we'll log into that computer, and we'll continue on with learning more about Active Directory. So I will see you in that video. Thanks for watching. If you find the information helpful, please feel free to like the video and subscribe to the channel for future videos. Thank you.